Hello, everybody. Happy. I feel like it's Monday. It could be Tuesday. No, we went to church yesterday, so it's Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. I love taking a little bit of time early in the week. Sometimes I do it on a Sunday, other times it happens on other days of the week where we gather and just talk about, brainstorm on, and think through some of our happenings for the week. What are we working on? What are our schedules saying? All of this kind of stuff. And today is no different. I am always thoroughly dedicated to making sure that you guys have exactly what you need in order to succeed and in order to win. Okay. If you are new here in the tribe, what's up, sis? We are so glad that you are here and a part of the Mamathon community. I am Christina Garrett, productivity coach for superstar working mothers, mom leaders, women entrepreneurs, those who have a lot on their plate and they're looking to organize and streamline their busy lives. Okay. I am today going to be revisiting a topic that we talked about the other day. My DMs were blowing up after this live. Okay. And if you missed it, I'm going to recap on some of the things that we talked about today. But I'm about to go live. Hold on. Y'all wait for me. Part two. Hold on. I'm going live on Instagram too, y'all. I'm about to do all the things at one time. Title, all right, y'all. Hey, everybody. Hi. Thank y'all for being patient with me today. First of all, as I go to put my camera on my phone on the tripod, y'all check out my fade. Okay, my husband put his foot in my head. I tell him all the time, I'm like, baby, I need you to give me the swag so I feel like I can do all things through Christ all week. So I've been having him kind of help reset me a little bit. There are other things that you can tap into your femininity to reset yourself, but that's not the live that we're going to talk about today. Okay. Today we're going to be revisiting again, discussing imposter syndrome and there we go. Discussing imposter syndrome and sufficiency. We're going to be talking about our emotions and working through all of this stuff. Somebody said that fade is fading. Baby, some days it's like I have to go live. Y'all got to see the hair. You have to see the hair. Like if I wasn't here to show the magic, y'all week might not start the way that it's supposed to start, right? So we got to show up. We got to do the things, okay? If you're new here, I'm Christina Garrett. Thank you for being a part of this community. This live today is sponsored by the Mamathon Conference, October 27th through the 29th in Atlanta, Georgia, okay? We are a bombshell community of epic women. 98% of us are mothers. We are mom leaders. We have our own businesses. We work in corporate. We work in politics. We are literally changing the community scape and empowering women who drive them. I, as a productivity coach, do so much more than just coaching, okay? Of course, I'm there to meet with you and talk to you one-on-one and do all the things that help you create your strategy. But in addition to that, we have our annual event every fall. We do a lot of work in maternal advocacy, educational advocacy. So we're partnering with corporations, national nonprofits. These things are happening where we're working with Hyatt and Yes Every Kid Foundation and a myriad of other amazing entities who are doing great work in the world, okay? I was excited the other day. I pitched myself for wellness workshops for Delta Airlines. And y'all know because I'm the pitch queen, I got a DM back, right? So we're doing so much more than just one-to-one coaching here. It is about literally using your superpower, your intelligence, your brilliance, your passion to change the world, okay? And in the midst of us working to change the world, you still got to take care of home first, okay? You still have to make sure that while you are trying to secure the bag, And while we're trying to create all these new missions and launch big ideas, that we are still focusing on the things, the efforts, the people that matter the most. Okay. So I am always leaning towards and engaged with my pastor husband, right, who also works in the nonprofit sector. I'm always leaning over and working on making sure I'm present for my 5 children. Okay, we got a lot of kids running around here, and making sure that they have what they need as well. I cannot take over the world and do all the things, and then my home life has been suffering. Okay, so I, for one, understand and really lean into what are the things that need to happen, the most essential things. The most essential things. We cannot go and move all around and do all this stuff, and we have not leaned into what is the most important. Okay. And so if you have been wondering about that exact stuff yourself, since we are here for the magic, and I'm excited to share. Okay. I'm sharing this with a couple other friends as well. And we're going to go ahead and get down to the magic. Okay. I want everyone to know that what we're going to talk about today is essential, that what we're going to talk about today happens to the best of everyone. This is not just a you thing, okay? Feeling imposter syndrome, struggling through your emotions, this is not just a you thing. For many of us, we have a lot of thoughts running through our minds, okay? We have a lot of emotions that can be very high, and then sometimes our emotions can feel very low. I teach often on the book, The 12-Week Year, right? And the idea that we all go through the emotional cycle of change. Every single one of us go through this roller coaster ride that occurs when we decide to make dynamic changes in our life. You have a new goal, you're going to go on a roller coaster ride with your emotions. You want to make more money, roller coaster ride with your emotions. You want to show up stronger and be more present, roller coaster ride with your emotions. Every single goal that you have will send you on a roller coaster ride. Okay. And there are other lives on the Mamathon channel that talk about the emotional cycle of change. You guys can feel free to go back and watch those at any time. But literally, you go through I'm so excited. I didn't know it was going to be this hard. I'm so depressed that it is this hard. Wait a second, I can figure this out. And then you make it to success and fulfillment. At that time, you make it to the other side of the cycle of change where you feel like you are winning. So I want to lean in today and kind of use my fingers. You know how you can make a map larger? I want to kind of use my fingers to make this section of the emotional cycle of change a little bit larger, okay, a little bit bigger. Because as we are working on ourselves, as we are changing, growing, and developing, you are going to go through this ride. I usually see this in my clients around the 6-week coaching mark. I've been coaching long enough with enough women now to see this in my clients around the 6-week mark. Okay. There is something that as we're working through what's holding us back, as we are working on what's happening in our minds, as we're talking about our schedules and we're doing all these things, we begin to have an awakening of sorts where we're figuring out if we're coming or going, what's happening next, all the pizzazz. Okay. In the midst of all of this, you will hit these points where you're like, okay, I didn't know this was going to be so challenging. And you begin to feel that the way we did it before was better. The way I was before was not that bad. Am I really the person for the task? Am I really ready? Is this something that I can rely on to be consistent, right? So what will happen is, hey, Kersha, how are you? What will happen over the course of time is these emotions, these thoughts that are happening in our brains will cause us to either speed up out of fear of missing something or cause us to slow down and slide into stuck. Okay? We can have one of these two things. But I'm going to tell you, it happens to all of us. Okay? Happens to every single one of us. And so the other day we were talking about imposter syndrome, and I'm going to review really quickly for those of us who maybe you missed the live the last time, you want to go back and hear all the pizzazz. It was so good. Somebody was commenting like they were she was messaging me. She commented on my actual feed, not even like a message. She was like, listen, I needed this imposter syndrome. I needed to hear about this. And for the benefit of everybody that's watching today, I'm going to recap a little bit, and then we're going to go to the next level in terms of talking about what your brain is doing, what your mind is doing. Sometimes it's like some cats in a bag in a dryer. That's how your brain is working, okay? But I want you to know most of all that you're not a unicorn. That if you're struggling with procrastination, feeling stuck, feeling like you have to get things perfect, feeling like I don't know what to do next to move forward, this is the perfect live for you. Okay, and I want you to know that you're not an alien from outer space. You're not a unicorn. You're not a scientific anomaly. We've never heard it before. Every single person that is watching or is going to watch has experienced this before, okay? So imposter syndrome is feeling anxious and not experiencing your success internally. It is the anxious feeling. We've all experienced what anxiety feels like in the past. You can feel it in your shoulders. You can feel it in your chest, right? You can feel it as you start to have certain thoughts. You're thinking certain things. You're wondering, is this right? Is this not right? You're going back and forth. We all have experienced what anxiety feels like in our bodies. You can have certain thoughts about something happening and feel the anxiety. The very intangible, I can't touch it, ideas and thoughts can translate over into something that is feelable, that you can touch in your body. You can feel when your shoulders start to lock up. You can feel when your heart starts to beat a little faster. You can feel it when you go to think about something or say something specific. You can feel your chest get tight, like, wait a second, or butterflies in your stomach. These are physical representations of something that's only happening up here. How in the world is that possible? How is it possible that something that I cannot touch, that is technically invisible, intangible, untouchable, can translate over to this very noticeable physical characteristic? How is that even possible, right? So this is where anxiety and imposter syndrome come together to meet. It is when you have some anxiousness about feeling how successful you are on an internal basis. Somebody said, I'm quite familiar with those symptoms. I'm feeling it in a physical way. How is that even possible? So it says, I'm not experiencing my success on an internal basis. Despite, this is the definition of imposter syndrome, despite being high performing in external ways. So you have a myriad of wins. You have a whole lot of successes, certifications, degrees, life experience. You have years of the know-how to teach what you know you can teach, to be who you know you can be. And your mind is still playing tricks, still doing cartwheels, trying to determine if you are the woman for the job. Your mind is still playing these games. You're not able to feel your success on an internal basis. Think that you're a fluke? Yours truly experiences it every now and then. Every now and then. I'm going to tell you guys some of the things that I do to make sure you can adopt these thoughts too. You can adopt these affirmations, beliefs, whatever you want to call them. None of this is going to linger long in my mind. But what happens is we forget how successful we are externally. So we begin to define ourselves based off of what we see about ourselves, not about what everyone else sees. Okay? Imposter syndrome can show up in a myriad of different ways, and we're going to talk about that today. But let's just think that you have all the wins, you have all the wins, you have all the characteristics of success, but you don't feel it inside your body. The other day, when I was talking about this same subject, it's the idea that I can think anxious thoughts, be worried about something, and feel the physical manifestation in my body. I can feel it in my body. My shoulders get tight, my heart starts racing, all these things. But I want to challenge you to think of what brings me calm, what brings me certainty, surety. I know for a fact there's one belief, affirmation, whatever. It's factual though. It's a fact. One thing that whenever I'm up against something big, I tell myself this over and over. I tell myself every single goal that I set, I achieve. And this goal right here will be no different. Every single goal that I set, I get it every single time. This goal will be no different. I dare you to grab that and use it for yourself. I dare you to say, you know what, the next time I feel like I'm not ready, I don't know if I can, every goal that I set, I achieve every single one. And it began to transform not just the results that I was getting, but how I felt about those results. Okay. So when we have imposter syndrome, it is a feeling of anxiety. Imposter syndrome is not experiencing your success on an internal basis. No matter how high performing you are in a bunch of other places in your life. So many people see how valuable you are. They tell you these are your gifts. They tell you you have this superpower. They tell you all of this. And you want to debate them on how that's not the case. We could call it humility. We can call it whatever we want. Truth of the matter is you don't see yourself as successful as you actually are. I tell my husband all the time and we laugh about it. I'm like, baby, the Bible says to humble yourself, therefore, under the mighty hand of God. Humble yourself to the Lord. To everybody else? Oh, baby, this is what we do here. I am the GOAT. Like, you should be able to say that about yourself, no problem. You should know your gifts, your talents, your passions, what you're killing the game at. You should know all of this. So somebody said, God has not given me the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. That is her go-to. What am I scared about? You might have to translate that into the thug-tastic version. Girl, get up. What you scared of? You already got the power. Like, how do we need to talk to ourselves to make sure that we are affirming what we know to be true? Okay. And so, imposter syndrome can also manifest looking like you're a fraud. Looking like you're a fraud, feeling like you're a phony, and you begin to doubt your capabilities. And this especially happens for high achieving women. This especially happens for those of us who have the most to be proud of. We have so much to be excited about. We're working so hard to prove that we're the GOAT at the area, our personal area of expertise. Okay? But something internal tells you it's not in comparison to something else or somebody else. So it's not worth it. I should slow my roll. I should just be more humble about X, Y, and Z. People now say, Christina, why are you doing it? I'm like, thank you. Like, God is good. But I'm not going to argue with them or debate them that what they're saying to me isn't factual. So this is where we have to come up against the struggle, okay? Especially as high achieving women. Okay, especially as women who we have so much to be honored about, so much to be proud of. We're putting that work in. We're putting that work in. And here you are arguing with somebody else that you are not the baddest one to do it. I was having a conversation with one of our speakers one day that's coming to the conference in October. And I was like, listen, maybe God doesn't want you to be small. What about that? What about if God doesn't want you to be small? Are you okay with that? I'm accepting my calling not to be small. Are you going to debate other people? We will argue other people down and tell them that the compliment they gave us isn't factual. Today, I want to challenge you to look for how it is true. Today, I want to push you to identify the ways in which this is true. How is what they said to you factual? How is this a fact? I did this with one of my clients on Friday. I was like, listen, what do you know about yourself? She wasn't sure. I said, what do you want to believe about yourself? That you're the best to do it. How is this true today? Right now, in this moment, how is this factual? And then let's go into that and pull that information out, because nothing that you're telling me is a lie. You're telling me all this good information, all this awesomeness. Nothing that you're saying to me is a lie. Like my sister just said, look for the confirmation. This is already true. I already know this to be factual. The reason that a lot of our teen girls get in trouble is because nobody at home told them how gorgeous they are, how beautiful they are, how special, how remarkable. So they go out into the world, some joker off the street tells them, you're so pretty, you're so special, like they've never heard it before. I told my daughter, who is like 5'6" and stunning, okay? I was like, listen, baby, I want you to know that boys liking you is a part of the process. Them liking you is a part of the process. I want you to already know you're a bombshell. So when you go out into the world and some joker want to tell you that you're a bombshell, that it's like you're just echoing what I already know about myself, okay? So for a lot of us, imposter syndrome manifests making you feel like you're a fraud in some way. Like you're a phony and you doubt your capabilities. You feel unqualified, unready, and you often fall into comparing yourself with others. We fall into comparing ourselves. Okay? So what we end up doing is trying to find the happy medium in all of this. We work really hard to find the groove. So, okay, you know what? I really don't want to have this problem. What do I do next? Okay? And so here were 3 thoughts that we were pulling from the other day, and I'm going to add a little bit of sauce onto the end of this. Is that number 1, you are enough. Okay? You as a person have not been given anything less than anybody else. You as a dynamic woman, as God's daughter, he gave you just as much magic as he gave everybody else. The Bible says, I want to say it's in Jeremiah, he talks about I went down to the potter's house and I'm looking at the potter shape the pottery. And in the Bible, it says, destruction is certain. Oh, wow, God. Destruction is certain for those who argue with their creator. Okay? Don't be arguing with God about how he made you and what he gave you to create magic in this world. I'm telling you right now, you have the same amount of gifts, talents, expertise as anybody else if you use the resources wisely. And some of us, we want to debate about how that isn't true. We want to tell God, you did not give me this. You did not help me recognize this. How does this even work? How does this serve us? Right? It doesn't. It doesn't serve us at all. The Bible says destruction is certain for those who argue with their creator. I'm not going to argue with God about how amazing he made me to be. Okay? Number 2, you have enough. Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you. 45 and 9. Okay? It was Isaiah. Thank you so much. Whoever posted that. Number 1, you are enough. Number 2, you have enough. Okay? I often think about the widow woman, and the prophet asked her, what do you have in your house? What do you have in your house? And many of us, we are spending more time looking in the window of what other people have in their house than what we have in our own. A lot of us spend more time looking in the window of what other people have in their house than what we have in ours. So we struggle with the comparison trap. We struggle with feeling insufficient. We struggle with wondering if we're doing the right thing or doing it wrong or how is this going to happen. We're always struggling because I'm always looking over the fence in someone else's grass. I'm looking over the fence into their window. I'm always looking somewhere else, feeling as though I am insufficient in some way. But I dare to challenge you today, okay, that you have exactly what you need right now to create the result you need right now. Right now, in this moment, you have exactly what you need. Okay. Now you may, once you hit that point, you're gonna need something else. That's okay. But then God brings in those resources too for the next level. But I dare for you to ask God right now. God, Christina reminds me I have enough. I don't see it. So how is this true? How is this factual right now in this moment? I know I have enough. The Bible says your grace is sufficient. You provide all my needs. This means I have the grace to do what I need to do and the provision. Where is it? Where is it? I know it's somewhere hidden in the laundry pile. I know it's somewhere hidden in my active mind. I know it's somewhere hidden in my emotions. Sometimes I let my emotions get in the way, but where is it? You already told me it was there. You told me it was there. If it's here, where? My intuition, my ingenuity, my passion, I already know there's a way. Can you show me what is the way? You are enough. You have enough. And number 3, you're capable enough. You're capable. In addition to looking over in somebody else's windows, right? We begin to feel as though they have a myriad of things that we don't have access to. In the midst of looking over at somebody else's window, paying attention to what they're doing, how they're doing it, we can have thoughts about, she has this, I don't have this. Like one of my ladies, y'all, she will argue with me tooth and nail about how I have a supportive husband, her husband isn't supportive. Oh, you taught your kids how to help. I'm still in the place of having to do all these things and X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well, listen, I had to do some very strategic plans of action in order to stop being a micromanager, in order to communicate with my spouse about the things that we needed to do together, in order to take our feelings out of every decision and just do what we know we need to do. We had to do a lot of intentional work to make that happen. Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to tap into your capabilities, your strengths, your vision? Are you willing to troubleshoot? Are you willing to troubleshoot? Are you willing to say, this is not working right here? Here's why it's not working. Here's what I'm going to do differently. And then I'm going to come back to the drawing board again. Are you willing to do that? Because everybody who makes it to the other side has decided somewhere in their emotional cycle of change that this feels too hard. I'm going to hang it up. Every year. I'm like, you know what? I could just have an easy breezy life. I could just do my advocacy and get paid. I get paid for it. I could just do this over here. I could just coach my bombshell clients. I'm talking about women in HR and politics, and I got an actress in here somewhere. Y'all won't know who she is, and all these kind of things. I could just keep coaching my ladies and minding my business. But God has called me to do something else. And if I allow the imposter syndrome to sideline, a lot of us are not feeling the full scope of our own capabilities. You're not feeling that you have enough, you are enough, you're capable enough to move from where you are to where you want to go. Hey, ladies. And so, as we are analyzing what imposter syndrome even is, it's the anxiety that you feel, right? When we're not experiencing our success inside. I didn't say you're not winning like out there in the world. I'm talking about internally, you feel like I'm not sure. And that lack of certainty manifests in different ways. Some of us, we hustle, right? We're trying to hurry up, get afternoon, and get there where we want to get to. Sometimes we are frustrated with others, so we micromanage ourselves and them. Other times it shows up with us procrastinating, right? Like I always observe myself for where I procrastinate. Like as you're doing things around your house, just as you work, you live your life. This morning I was folding up blankets on my couch. And my son, he said, Mom, during study hall, I'm so excited to study my anatomy book. He's not in anatomy this year. He said, I want to study my anatomy book during study hall so that I can learn, blah, blah, blah. I said, son, this year you're in biology, right? You're in biology this year. That's not your focus right now. Yes, I want you to learn, but I want you to learn this extra stuff after you're done with your homework for this class that is due on Thursday. Okay. So what happens is selective procrastination. We'll pick the thing that we like doing. We'll pick the thing we like doing, right? We'll pick the thing that feels good to us. We'll pick that because it does need to be done. It does need to happen. I must be doing the right thing. So we have swept under the best use of our energy doing this extra stuff. Okay. So imposter syndrome happens internally because we're not experiencing how successful we are. We feel unqualified, unready, and we tend to compare ourselves to other people. But if you can remember that you are enough, you have enough, and you're capable enough. What? Like there's no difference between that person over there and me. The only difference is how they're taking advantage of all of their resources. That's the only thing. The only difference between them and me is she takes more action at a higher level. The difference between her and me is I invested in coaching, a lot of it. And every chance I get, I soak up more information, more learning, more books. Because I know that the key to me being the next level version of myself is preparing myself in here and in here. That when imposter syndrome creeps up on me too. One of my clients, she was like, I just know you never have a bad day. I was like, oh no. Sometimes I have bad mornings. And then I get over it and it comes back and it's a bad afternoon. But I am learning how my mind works so I can identify my thoughts and I know they're not factual. I can see myself almost like in a mirror. It's a skill. That's what we do in coaching, right? Is we help to identify thought errors. Things that we think about ourselves, our life, our situation, our families, all of it. And we say, you know what? This is not true. My husband doesn't appreciate me. Girl, he just bought you some flowers last week. That's not factual. Girl, didn't he pay the bills? Aren't you a stay-at-home mom? Yeah, he love you. Even when stuff is tight, he didn't demand you go get a job. Whatever those things are for you as a person. Some of us, we get out of imposter syndrome by realizing we are sufficient in many ways that matter. Whether that today is lights and food, you should be able to show up with a different sense of passion and a relentless pursuit because you feel sufficient. Today, when I was having my moment, hey, Lude, I was having a moment. I was like, okay, I'm just figuring this out. I told my husband, I said, baby, just put your arms around me and put your hands on my shoulders. He's like my grounding place. I'm going to go to him. I'm going to let him ground me. And he's like, baby, like, you that chick. Like, just go ahead and do what you got to do. I was like, okay. All right. But he didn't have to say anything to me. I just went to him. I said, listen, put your hands on my shoulders. I just need to feel sufficient. Something about his love, my kids' love, having lights. I haven't Listen, I'm not skin and bones. We got plenty of chicken in the fridge, right? Like that's such a sense of sufficiency that allows me to show up in all these other areas of my life. All these other areas. Imposter syndrome goes away when you realize it doesn't have to be perfection for you to execute it. It doesn't have to be this one way. But somewhere we're not feeling sufficient internally. You're not feeling it inside. Maybe there's some result that you're working towards that you don't have yet. But if you can think anxiety and feel it in your body, I want you to think about how you'll feel when you get the result you're working towards. You too can feel that in your body. Okay? When I tell myself every single goal, y'all see it? Every single goal that I set for myself, I achieve it. Every single one. When I remind myself of that fact, baby, I feel completely different. I'm like, oh, this will be fine because every goal I set, I achieve. It's a fact. It's certain. I know this to be true. This I know to be true. Every goal I set, I achieve. And it helps if I can think anxiety and feel it in my body. I can also think sufficiency, efficiency, capability, feeling loved, knowing that God's my provider. All of these things, I can feel this in my body too. And that's a whole different experience that we're working on learning. How is this factual right now in this moment? I know this is true. And then sit over there, lean over there, decide to build your tent over there. Not spinning in, is this right? Should I do all this stuff? You already know what the plan is. But so many of us, we allow our own minds to talk us out of the plan. And then beyond that, we allow our feelings and our emotions to talk us out of the plan. We base everything off of what do we feel like doing. Last night I was it yesterday? Had to be yesterday. It was like 8 o'clock at night. Maybe it was 7. I don't know. We had a long church day. I said, okay, babe, I'm about to put these wings on, these sweet potatoes in the oven, and we're going to go forth, right? And I said to myself, within myself, I was like, I don't really feel like exercising. I don't feel like it. Like, this is one thing. If I'm going to be resting, I could rest all the way. But the longer you let your mind think on it, the longer you do I feel like doing this? You never feel like doing anything uncomfortable. Putting yourself out there, uncomfortable. Following up, uncomfortable. Maybe you're working on your business or your brand and you're like, hey, I got to go live and talk to people. Maybe that feels uncomfortable for you. Whatever those things are, that's okay. But why are we letting the feelings of discomfort push us away from our life's work? It is completely okay to feel uncomfortable about a lot of things, right? But why are we letting discomfort push us away from the work we're supposed to be doing? The reason that we are on the planet to serve the world and to be efficient and to give and to love. We let how comfortable we are and the thoughts we have about ourselves to sway us from what we're really supposed to be doing. And so here's imposter syndrome sitting behind you, right? Like, listen, you don't do it like this person. You don't have these resources. All these different thoughts and doubts. But what would happen if none of that played a role in how you show up in the world? What would happen if you weren't bothered by all of this drama? What would happen if you were trained to see your own thoughts to see how you're feeling about yourself, to see what you're experiencing in your body and to know why, and then to have a plan. You already know how to handle it. Oh, I feel uncomfortable. This doesn't mean anything about myself. I feel scared. I'm worried about this situation. This does not mean anything about who I am as a person. This is just an experience I'm having because I'm human. I'm a human being. And for that reason, I'm going to have a varying expression of emotions, right? I'm going to have all of these moments where I'm not sure sometimes because I'm human. I'm going to have moments where I feel nervous or feel overwhelmed. I'm human. But then beyond that, I get to ask myself, how do I not stay there? How do I not hover in this place where I assume always feeling overwhelmed, always having imposter syndrome, always being uncertain? That's not supposed to be that way. Where all these emotions are common, but they don't have to be. They don't have to be. This is where we begin to unlock the next level of ourselves. This is where we say, you know what? Like, I see the other side of this. Like, I can see it and I can feel within myself internally that it's already accomplished. Because I've had 7 years of Mamathon conference planning, right? I've had 7 years of seeing 75, 100 women in a room worshiping God, later that night turning up, eating lots of food, laughing, crying, growing, creating their plans. I've seen them walk away with forever friendships. I've seen them walk away with their next business partner, network on a new level. I've seen all of this. So in my mind, I've already seen it as done. I've already seen it as done. So even if I have feelings about it, that is no representation of what's actually going to happen. Like, the magic is already unfolding. And that is the beautiful thing, okay? And so as we are navigating all of these feelings, as we're thinking about what I'm sharing, okay? I want to invite you to feel your success internally. Every single goal that I set, I achieve. This goal will be no different. Everything you're working on, just say that. Every goal I set, I achieve. Wow. And maybe you're in a place of you don't feel that way, and that's not factual for you right now. That's okay too. We have something for you as well. But I just want you to sit in this emotion that I'm a new person, even if it's as a result of this live today. I get to be a new person. I get to let this be my step one, my stage one. And every goal that I set, I accomplish. I am a person who follows through. I am a woman who takes an idea and works it through to completion. I am a woman who gets excited about something and taps into all of her resources to make it happen. I'm that woman. I'm not waiting on any opportunities. I know how to create them. I'm not waiting on anybody to hire me. I create jobs. This is an entirely different mindset, a whole different perspective, okay? And so, most of the time, imposter syndrome shows up in one of these 4 ways: procrastination, perfectionism, paralysis, and people pleasing. These are our 4s. If you struggle with imposter syndrome and feeling your success on an internal level, most of the time it shows up in one of 4 ways, or all 4 ways: perfectionism, paralysis, people pleasing, and procrastination. Some of us, it's all of them. Some of us, we don't want to procrastinate, but we want to get it perfect. In order to get it perfect, I got to keep putting it off again and again. Some of us, we're paralyzed because we want to people please. Sometimes the people we want to please are the people we live with. The people pleasing is not always the folks at your job. It's not always the people, your extended family, your friend. No, a lot of times you want to people please the people that live with you. Your husband has certain needs. You want to make him happy. Nothing wrong with that. Your kids, y'all know they don't stop asking. Nothing wrong with that. We want to be present for our families and love them well. But how do I take my energy and pour it into these other places when I feel like I have to be all accessible for you? How do I strategically remove myself without anybody feeling like they are dismissed? That you're not important to me? All this kind of stuff. I realized something yesterday in my own personal coaching, and then I'm going to give y'all a call to action and I'm going to wrap it up. In my own personal coaching, yesterday was Sunday. We had a long church day, came home, put some food on, exercise. My husband was like, let's all watch a movie, family night, whatever. Help my daughter with her math, all the things that needed to happen, okay? And my thought was, while we're watching the movie, I can send some emails to some of the potential sponsors for the conference, right? I was like, I know while we're sitting there chilling, I can do these things. And God really got on my heart about making sure that I'm resting and making sure that when I have a Sabbath day, it is a Sabbath day. And part of learning to Sabbath is trusting God about Monday. Oh, yeah. It's trusting God about Monday, right? But it didn't mean I didn't want to do. I just had to learn how to turn it. And so what I realized in my coaching, and I shared this on my feed, is a lot of times we feel like we got to hustle or we're always working. And the reason why is because we're not efficient during our work hours. You're not doing what you need to do during your work hours. So that's why you want to stay up all night typing. This is why you want to stay up all night. You're not going to bed with your husband to do married things. You staying up because we don't trust God about Monday. You're not efficient during the time that you're supposed to be working. So that's why you're still working at 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And unless you and your partner, spouse, whatever, have an agreement that this is what you're doing, like my husband does some evening lives about podcasts, about sometimes I go live at night. I might go live again tonight, talk to a completely different set of people. But we have an agreement, he and I, that this is what we're doing. He and I have a whole different level of talk where we're like, we don't have any emotions about, go ahead and do what you need to do. I'll be right here. We have that agreement, okay? But a lot of us got some contention stirring up at home because we are not using the hours we do have in a streamlined and organized fashion, okay? Hey, Miss Sylvia. We're not using it in an organized fashion. So we're still all over the place. We're still doing things we don't have to do. We're using our energy in ways that we don't have to. Like, I barely cleaned my kitchen. I was washing dishes this morning, and my daughter was like, Mom, you're cleaning the kitchen? I know, baby. I just like surprising y'all sometimes. Every now and then. But it is the culmination of doing all of these things that make it efficient, okay? So as I wrap up, if you have been identifying with what I've been talking about the last couple of days, you know that you struggle with putting things in their proper place. You know that you're doing too much, but then you also feel like you're not doing enough. You know, hey there, you know that you're trying to create some big ideas, but with a family, if you got a bunch of kids running around, you got a spouse that you love, you're building, going up the ladder in corporate, you're doing all these amazing things. A lot of times we need a different plan of action for those of us who are doing the most. And a lot of times we let the procrastination, the paralysis, you just moving slow. Everything that you want to do could be done in twice the time. But because you are overthinking, because your mind is producing a lot of drama for you, because you have a hectic schedule, you're all over the place, you end up procrastinating, you find yourself micromanaging for all the people. And then when it does come time for you to execute, you sit down at your desk and you're not even sure, what do I do first? What idea do I work on first? How do I climb into this as quick as possible, right? And so if that's you, you've been trying to figure out how to work all of these things together, this is your place, and I'm your coach. Okay. So you can go through the mamathon stuff and listen to a decade worth of lives. Feel free. But if you really want to work on a next level strategy to help you get there faster, to help you still be present with your family, to help you shake off procrastinating, to help you build your business to the next level, you're like, Christina, I'm trying to figure out how you and your husband are happy. You're in Essence Magazine. You homeschool your children. Hold on. Here we go. You homeschooling your kids. You're doing all the things, and we're trying to figure out how in the world are all of these things happening at one time. Okay. How is all of this happening at one time? You're here, you're planning a conference, you to working with these nonprofits. Listen, all the things. How is this happening? And a lot of ladies are like, you still here. You're still like this grounding place where we know you're still in the same work. Okay. My brain is open to you all. And what I'm really excited about this year is for us to all the one-on-one clients to meet this year at the conference. We're doing a VIP day on that Friday, and we're working through the rest of the year into 2024 to create the strategy, to create the plan, to work on it, to troubleshoot, where you guys get access to the resources that you need without the overwhelm, without the burnout, without trying to figure out if you're doing it right and all this drama. Like, imagine how much more streamlined your efforts will be with the plan that works for your season. A lot of folks are like, do all of these things, be all these places. No, I don't have time for that. My time is literally of the essence. And so I want to make sure that I'm using my energy, my work hours, my focus to the best next level capabilities that I can. Because you have enough. You as a woman are enough. And you are capable enough to reach every single goal. Every single one. But some of us, we want somebody to walk with us as we do this. We want somebody to help us troubleshoot and hold us accountable and remind us that we're a baddie, and all of the things. Like, all of this together with a strategic plan of action is the next level. It's how you get the results. It's what we have to do in order to get to the next place. And so I'm honored to work with and partner with some really incredible women who work in HR and are educators and are actresses and singers and so many different dynamic. I got some homeschoolers in there with businesses and all these incredible things, these dynamic women across the board who are looking to go to the next level. They're like, listen, I don't want my mind to slow me down. I don't want my perfectionism, my procrastination. Hey, everyone. I don't want me being a people pleaser. I don't want my own mind to get in the way. I want to get out of my own way because I know that I'm not tapping into my fullest potential. But you're that chick. You're the best to do it. You're ready right now. Okay. And so I want to partner with you to make that happen. After this live is over, go ahead and slide into my messenger, or you can book a call in my bio to talk about coaching. I am an executive coach. I have been doing this work for over 8 years. And if you Google Christina Garrett and Mamathon, you will see a whole lot of amazing magic, such as Fox News and Essence Magazine, Red Table Talk, CNN, Washington Post, Yahoo Parenting, Sweet July, and a whole lot of other incredible places where we've been honored to lend the expertise. Okay. So as you go forward, we would love to be the support for you and add you into the tribe of amazing women leaders who are reclaiming their time and doing some really epic work in the world. Okay. So that's it for today. I love you all dearly. I'm going to go and relax and enjoy my family, maybe get a little bit more work done. But yeah, remember that imposter syndrome does not define you. You are human. You're allowed to experience human emotions, but you don't have to stay there. All right. We'll see you guys later.